Hello, hello,
This is the podcast, girls.
and the city. You're welcomed by your two lovely co-hosts, me, Susanna, who is practicing law of detachment this week.
All right. And me, Elizabeth, who's been knitting her way through anxiety the past couple of weeks. Anyways, on our podcast, we watch an episode of Sex and the City. We figure out what's the main question. We try to answer it through the episode. If we can't answer it, we usually find our own answers. And we add a bit of a modern twist with either our personal stories or stories we've heard of friends or people who are our listeners that share our stories. Um,
Correct.
yes. How are
So
you?
I feel
Oh, she's trying into. Okay,
I feel
for
like
it.
we are dealing with the same problem, but like finding different mechanisms of how to deal with it, which is the anxiety bit.
We're just a bunch of anxious girls. I hope everyone else can relate though.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. Or is it just like in your late 20s? That's what
That's
that
the
life is
trending
about.
topic is all of us are just
Yeah.
anxious.
Um,
I think that's true.
Let us
I
know
relate.
who can
Let us
relate.
know.
But yeah, no, like my detachment is literally coming from me just having a realization that, oh my God, I'm so anxious because I have this anxious attachment problem with,
She cares a lot.
yeah, but I think I become like obsessive. Also about just outcomes of like how I want things to go, I want to be in control. And if,
Fair.
if that doesn't go that way I want or I'm not in control, I am really anxious. I gotta calm down. I tried ashwagandha, but I feel like it stopped having an effect on me because like
Oh
you need to
no.
cycle it and I it's been 3 months now. So ashwagandha is not having such an immense effect on me anymore. So yeah, I realized I want to start properly meditating again.
Nice.
I
Okay.
think that is a very good way of to just deal with your heavy emotions or anxiety.
Yeah.
And as a result of my meditation today, I was like, oh yeah, it's all about detachment because the meditation was about detachment and it was very soothing to listen to it and I could identify with a lot of examples of what it means to not be detached and how actually important it is to be detached because if you're not, you are kind of having this mindset of like scarcity or fear and you act in that way
Yeah.
and you send that energy and I don't like it. So
Just gotta not care apparently.
yeah, that's how you attract the best in your life. You just don't care about what comes, you just do what you
You
like.
just do. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I've been dealing with I guess it is anxiety.
I guess.
As as Dochi puts it, anxiety is crazy. Um, yeah, I've like what have I been doing? I yarn is expensive though. So okay, I really love like knitting and crocheting and all the artsy things, but it's an expensive hobby. Like a little ball of yarn here in the US is like $25 a
What?
thing. And I was like, it doesn't
Oh
even
my
make a
god.
lot. So what I've actually been doing last weekend, I went to one of the like the supermarket thrift stores. They're like huge. And they had a 50% off sale on like sweaters and things like that. And they're like $4 or $5 each to begin
Are you
with.
gonna de-knit them?
I did.
Oh my god, no way. That's so smart.
I
Like,
actually like let me see if I can find it behind you. But I got like a bunch of sweaters and I like yeah, I de yarn like I took them apart and made yarn out of them. So
wow,
I'll be
that's like
making
another level
blankets.
of dedication.
Yeah, well, it's just a lot cheaper, right? Like, I don't
Of
know, with
course.
my level of anxiety and the need for hobbies and keeping occupied, I need a lot of materials. So
We deal with our anxiety differently.
there we go. There's a way for every girly, every anxious girly. So I think that's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's amazing. I honestly, I find it very smart.
Thank you, thank you. Um, yeah, otherwise, I think we're both just looking forward to our trip that's coming up soon. So if you guys see us
Or
recording
don't
in
see
a
us.
tropical location or
Do you
maybe
really
a
think we're
boat,
gonna if you're gonna like record on a boat?
I actually really want to.
Okay,
We
let's
can
see how
also
that
like
goes.
interview our friends if they want to be on it. I think that'd be so fun.
We always plan these things and then we never do anything. So,
Yeah, we'll have to actually follow through this time.
but this time we're
Uh,
gonna spend more time together. Usually we would meet for like a
exactly.
day.
Yeah, no, this time we're literally going to be stuck together. So very excited for that.
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Goodness, goodness. But yeah, do you want to intro us into the episode? I think
Yes,
we're on
I will.
season two, episode 15. It's kind of a longer season.
It is a
Um,
longer season, yeah.
and it's called The Shortcomings.
The shortcomings.
The Shortcomings.
Yeah, so let me switch my tab where I have my summary as the type A
She's ready.
person should.
The
Okay.
type B one is over here.
Honestly, I don't know who you are. I think you're type C
I'm, oh,
or what is it? Like gamma,
there
you
are
know?
others.
I don't know, but I wouldn't classify you as neither type A or B.
I'm a hybrid. Depends on with what. Like I'm
Exactly.
overly
So,
on top of some
it's
things, but I'm like
it's C.
disheveled in all others. Okay, it's C. I love being a hybrid extra type.
You are unique.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
type
you.
Elizabeth.
I'll take it as a compliment.
It
But
is.
yes,
It
give us a
is.
summary.
Okay. So in this episode, Carrie starts dating upcoming author Vaughn. That's right. Like that was his
Yeah.
name, right? Um, who is a very sweet guy with even sweeter parents. Um, she gets along great with his family, maybe too great, and everything seems to go great, amazingly. She really like get it with the mom specifically. Um, but the only problem in the relationship is that when it comes to intimacy and bed, Vaughn is too excited or gets it to the end very quickly. Obviously, it's making it hard for them to, or Carrie, to really enjoy that part of relationship. So, yeah, as we see during the episode, it kind of goes and snowballs at the point that she wants to talk about it. Vaughn really snaps and says, I don't want to talk about it. I talked about it my whole life with my parents. Because we learn later in the episode that his mom is very pro sexual topic type of discussion with her kids, and she always been. So it's been quite an open topic for them since he was a child. And I personally think it had some negative consequences on his psyche as a result. So at the end of the episode, we see that Vaughn is just starting to become this man child who is losing his shit because he can't find what was it? Like they had dinner at his family
It's
place
cream
and
cheese. It was like
cream cheese,
chive
yeah.
cream cheese, super small.
He couldn't find the cream cheese and he just got very angry and petty on the fact that he can't find it. And that was the time when Kay realized that, yeah, this is not going to work. But she had to not only break with him, but also with the mom, which I think was harder. I think that we can see that she got much more along with the mom that she got on with Vaughn. So that's scary. We have Charlotte that is also having a family type of a situation, but this time is with her brother Wesley, who just went through a divorce with his wife. I believe so. They are
Hmm.
divorced, and he's visiting Charlotte. Not sure why, but Charlotte is kind of hung up upon the fact that he should just go back to his wife, where he's explaining to her that, yeah, I don't think you understand what it means. Like, what was the last relationship you ever been to? And then she's very protective of him because she's afraid that Samantha will jump on him.
Oh.
So yeah. So she, I think, scheduled a meeting with Carrie, probably only. Um, but Samantha shows up as well. And Charlotte is clearly not happy about that. And long story short, Samantha does what she always does and goes for what she wants. In this case, Wesley. So we find out that next day, Samantha basically shows up in Charlotte's kitchen making coffee, clearly suggesting that she spent the night there with Wesley. And Charlotte snaps. She says very ugly things to Samantha. And Samantha gets offended. And then we kind of learn from the brother that actually he has been having problems with intimacy as well. And thanks to Samantha, he realized that he just needed to meet the right person and that nothing was wrong with him. So Charlotte realizes that Samantha actually helped her brother and comes to Samantha to say sorry. So that was a nice ending. And then we have Miranda, who is also involved in some kind of family dynamic. She meets a divorcee who has a kid. And I'm not sure, well, I'm sure she's not very happy about that from the beginning, but she gives it a go just to later find out that that's not gonna work because the man clearly will always side with the child, who, by the way, was super spoiled. Like, he was a menace. And yeah, she is staying over the guy's place, and by accident, I hits the
Well,
kid face
yeah,
because he was trying to get
she
into
was
the bathroom, right?
yeah, she was in the bathroom naked, and then he like was looking for his dad and like was opening the door, and she like to
Yeah.
avoid any awkward encounters or traumatizing the child, she
So
like
she kind
slammed the
of
door and accidentally
slammed the
hit
door,
him.
and it hit the kid, and yeah, it was the whole drama about it. And the man was just like, "Hey, you should go." So at the end of the episode, we see all women meeting each other with each other again in the favorite coffee spot, and just I'm not gonna say more because I will spoil the ending of the question,
No,
but
for sure.
you will see. Anyway, we have a lot of topics of family intimacy and shortcomings in people and relationships that we inevitably have to face at some point, whether that's bad parents or just life choices. And the question, voila, for this episode is: when you sleep with someone, are you screwing the family?
Okay, I also got the second one of
Oh, there's
when
a second one.
it's very it sounds along the same lines, but it's like when dating someone, how many people become emotionally involved? It's kind of it's
Okay.
on the same note, except for you're not well sleeping with a family.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think they're both saying the same thing, just in different
They
ways.
are. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, agreed, agreed.
Okay, so let's open the floor with the first interesting theme here, which is dating men with, as our favorite characters call it, baggage. That means divorced, kids, anything from the past relationships that is perceived as a baggage. I think we should first define if we even agree with this. Is it is it baggage?
What? Okay, so like I would like to like also point out Miranda's like perception of it. And the way she put it is like, I don't do vintage. I don't do thrift stores. I don't do like old couture. I don't do vintage men. And that was essentially her perspective of like, he's been divorced, he's got children, he's been used. It's like chewing someone else's gum. So I think that's a very radical approach, right? Because I think even ultimately, even people who've not been married also have baggage, right? So if you meet someone in their 40s, 50s and they've never like been in a long-term relationship, that is also a different form of baggage,
That
even
is a
though they've never
problem,
been.
I think. Like there's
Yeah,
some
like
there's a
I think
reason
that's more of a
why.
red
So
flag.
yeah, I think it's even worse than if they were in something and just realized
It
that
didn't
it's not
work
for
out.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, agreed.
So, yeah, do you agree that it's used material?
Not necessarily. Like I think that's it's a bit of a hot take. I think it's you're never gonna find a perfect person because I think we're entering also that same demographic, like people who are in their even like 30s.
Mm.
They've likely had failed relationships in the past. So I don't think it's necessarily a negative thing that like, yeah, it didn't work out, but they're still single. Sure, everyone has their quirks. Obviously, we all have like our traumas and things to work through, but I think it's more of like, have you put in the work?
Yeah, I agree. I think that actually it's good if there is some kind of experience rather than no experience. That means having a previous relationship. And yeah, I mean, if you were married, I think it kind of shows that the person actually is willing to commit and can be a partner. It just didn't work out. So to me,
Yep.
that's not necessarily a negative thing, especially if we enter specific age, right? Like after some point, if you are not or you have not been in a serious relationship, whatever, if you're married or not, I don't really there. I don't think there is much difference. It's more about the seriousness of the relationship. That would be more problematic for me. Like I would
Yeah.
have questions what happened there. Um. So yeah, I divorced. I don't think necessarily any difference to me. But having a kid, I think it's a completely different area because it's
Yeah.
not just you anymore. Um, and thankfully, I never had to deal with this yet. But I don't even know.
I'm just saying, like I've gone on I think one date where the guy was divorced and had a young child. Um, and it is an interesting thing because you're going to be a stepmom, and that's like
Yeah.
always like a hard dynamic to navigate because you're almost always going to be perceived as like the other woman and always going to be compared to the mother.
I mean, let's also clarify here. For our age, it makes sense that we are mostly talking about young children. But I
Yeah,
think at some point, like when your children are adults or old enough, it's actually a completely different scenario and dynamic. It's still gonna probably be a learning process for the kids, but getting or meeting a new partner of your parent once you're older is a completely different thing than when
totally.
the child is like in this case. I don't know how old was he, like 5 or below 5
I
or
think five.
no
Yeah, five or
5.
six.
So that is hard. I also like, what is the dynamic between parents, like the guy and the mother, that in itself might be already not very clean, and then if you enter the picture it might create even more complexity. So I don't want to say that I wouldn't, because it's just very unfair, but
Yeah,
I
I think it poses like different challenges as well.
yeah.
Because again, it's definitely easier, I think, to date someone, yeah, who doesn't have kids. Because there's just like less things to deal with almost, right?
I mean,
Because
for
you're,
sure, like you have more time and capacity to actually pay attention to the partner, right? I mean,
yeah,
we clearly see here that the dad is gonna side with the kid always, and that already creates this weird dynamic that I need to compete with your child for not only your attention but just like,
arguments.
I don't want to say arguments, but just acknowledging my needs, right?
Yeah,
And if you have a child and you are a good parent, you will probably prioritize the child most of the time. Um, so it's tricky. And then also, I'm thinking about all the single mom. I have struggles already to find time to just meet people, and I don't
yeah,
have a
even date.
child. Yeah,
Yeah,
imagine that you're trying to find time to date, and when you have a child, that's like another level of
And
difficult.
there's a lot, I think there's a lot more stigma around single moms than there is single dads.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, that's
Like it's just
a
harder inherently.
yeah. So I kind of get the point that Miranda was making here when it comes to children. I think she was very harsh about it and very selfish, being like, I don't want to deal with this. But yeah, it makes sense, especially when you are in a stage of life where you are looking to start a family with someone or you want to have that with your partner.
Yeah,
It's
that
just
makes a lot of sense.
clean sheet is easier to do. Another thing that I kind of noticed, which was weird, I think like that probably is the biggest red flag in the guy itself. He basically had Miranda over when the kid was in his place, which you are going to
Well,
be
we
very
don't know.
cautious. We're going to be very
Yeah.
cautious about introducing someone new into your child's life. They were very early on. Like that early on introducing like a partner to my child. That is weird, I
I
think.
think it's also a hard dynamic because we don't know like if the mom maybe also could have passed. Like, we know that like the child did have a
Mm.
mom, but if she was not alive, like that was like the only they could have gone to her place, I guess. Maybe that would have been like the solution there.
Well, for sure, but I'm assuming. I mean, I might not be right, but I'm assuming that there was a mother and they had split care with their child.
Yeah.
Like that's what you kind of got out of the episode. So to me, I don't understand why you would have someone you're seeing over when you have a child when it's these early stages. Like it's
No, for
not
sure.
necessarily right for the child neither because it will create these like over dramatic experiences, obviously, especially if it's a spoiled child. So it's just not fair for neither of the sides.
Yeah. No, agreed, agreed. It is a little
Yeah.
bit weird dynamic.
So yeah, she got out thankfully.
Yeah. But like with divorce men, because I think it's, we also see because like Wes, Charlotte's brother, has a very different outlook on it because obviously I think he's just fresh divorced. And
Mm-mm.
he's almost feeling like he's gained his life back. And I don't think like he is perceived as a man with baggage in this case. Like if anything, like he's now a newly eligible bachelor. Like what do you think about that dynamic? Because like I think it was very obvious that like yeah, the guy who was like divorced with a child, like there are some hesitations that they had, whereas Wes is like
Hmm.
very much like ready to go.
I mean, I think it just said I would repeat myself. There is a big difference when I'm looking at it from a perspective of Miranda and also us. You're looking
Yeah.
for someone that you want to eventually start your life with as a partner and family. If someone is divorced, but there is no child, and the divorce sealed the relationship that they had with someone else before.
Yeah, it like closed it.
Exactly.
That's
Like it's just a part of their past and formed them into who they are today. So I to me there is a big difference when someone is divorced and someone is divorced and has a kid that is young. So obviously it's going to be treated differently.
gotcha. Would you date a guy who has a child?
I want to say that never say never here, but I'm gonna be honest, I prefer not to. In this
Hmm.
stage of my life, I prefer not to date someone who has a child already. You?
No, that's fair. Oh, I hate to say it, it depends.
Oh,
Because yeah, the
interesting.
guy that like I think I went on a date with, like again, if we just didn't like have any like chemistry really, to be fair. Um, but if we did and like that was the circumstance, I wouldn't write off a relationship because of it. I think it is a factor that would make it difficult. But if it's like a person that I would feel that I could see myself with or have a future with,
Right.
um, yeah, I don't know. But also like the role of a stepmom did scare me a little. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, I think you said it, if I have to say generally, I would say no. But then if you look at use case specifics,
Yeah,
and you would just find someone that you really feel like everything just matches.
clicks. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's you will never find the perfect person. And I think when you actually start liking someone, I said that in some past episodes, suddenly some things that you would normally find less problematic, you will just not see as a problem with that person because you genuinely feel something for them rather than just have this objective list of what your ideal partner should and shouldn't be.
That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so no man with kids.
I'd still go for it. I don't know. Oh goodness.
Forever
Okay, but that's
romantic.
yeah, no, truly. Okay, but that's kids. Now going on to other like family members and dynamics.
Right.
Because I think that's like the other thing that's either made it or like makes or breaks it for me in a relationship is family dynamics and seeing how the person acts and speaks and, is with their family because I think that actually says a lot about a person.
Oh, definitely. It says a lot about the person and also the values they have and how probably you can say a lot about how they will be as a partner and as a father.
Yeah.
So definitely. Now, have you ever been in some kind of weird family situation where you felt that the family dynamic is not
Oh yeah,
really
no, I've seen
healthy?
some dysfunctional families for sure.
And how was like did that affect your decision over whether
I
the
think
relationship should
so,
be?
just because like again, and I am extremely lucky with my family, with like how like our dynamic
Yeah,
is,
I'm
and so
looking for
that's
your
what
dad.
I'm like. We're all looking for my Um, no, but it's just like the way that also like guys speak to their mothers. Like there is like mama's boys, and then there's the polar opposite of like I hate my mom. She's like the worst person on earth, and that's like both are red flags to me. Like I'd almost prefer the mama's boy because like he has learned to like love and appreciate and respect women. Versus guys
Sure.
who
But
are
then
like, oh my
like
mom,
I think like if you
okay,
have a mama's boy then the mama is usually the problem
the
because
tough
she
one,
has
yeah, the
this
tough cookie.
yeah.
And that's a different challenge for sure. But I think I'd take that over guys who say they hate their mothers because like obviously like not all mothers are perfect. Yes, there are mothers who are like alcoholics out there that are actually like
You went
mistreating
like
children. I really went dark far and deep.
not all mothers are perfect. Some of them have alcohol issues. I was like, okay. I thought you were gonna say like they have, some like attachment problems to their children, but okay.
No, no, I went straight for like dysfunctional families. Um, but it's really hard, and like that's where it pained me to see people who mistreat also like their grandparents or speak to them like as if they're like I don't know, like just disrespect. And maybe this is just because of how I was brought up in the family of like you love and respect your family no matter what, and they will do the same to you. But seeing that not work well did give me red flags in my eyes.
So did it like impact your decision over whether the relationship should continue or not?
It definitely made me more cautious because, like, again, I want to give people the benefit of the doubt of, like, yeah, maybe that's the environment that they grew up in, but that they want something better for their family when it comes time. And so it just made me ask, I think, additional questions of what was that I just saw because that's not normal.
Yeah. I mean,
um,
I think you also are very lucky because you have very healthy idea or model of family. So
yeah,
I understand why you would be more concerned about that.
yeah, and it's something that I'm looking forward to in my own family as well. Is that that support system and that like grounding factor.
For
And if
sure.
that's missing, for me, that would be a red flag because of just how much I value family dynamics.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what about you? Have you seen some messy families?
I've dated multiple people that I would say families were really, really not in a good state. And I think I might have a little bit of, or I used to have the nurturer helper problem that I saw someone and I could very clearly identify, they went through some hardships and I wanted to help them to heal with being there for them. And then I saw their families and some of them were really extreme, like
Hmm.
from having very toxic relationship with the mom, absent parents,
Yeah,
to not speaking to some of the siblings, and you're like, why? Like, what's so bad that you don't talk to each other or you don't know where your sibling is?
yeah,
Or you just treat your mom very poorly. Yeah, I've had multiple occasions like that.
gotcha.
Not sure what to say. I mean, I think what you said about it's more, do I see whether this person A is a lot of work and needs to do some of the healing before they can be in a healthy relationship. Definitely something I can say retrospectively looking at some of my relationships that these people were having some things they need to work through as a result, I
Fair.
think, of the
Yeah,
family
yeah,
dynamics. But at the same time, yeah, it might just be that I don't want to have that, and I'm looking to actually make sure that the family I create is gonna be healthy.
yeah. Hmm.
And I do believe that that's also possible. It's more about whether that person did some reflection and work on their values and what they want from life. So I wouldn't necessarily ditch it, but obviously, when
It
there's
raises
like a,
concerns.
if it's a like extreme situation, I would try to see more and also probably would want to create more situation with the partner where things are not good, just to see how they react in conflict or
Susanna would test them. Yep.
not me being manipulative. It's
She's gonna run a simulation on it.
Yeah, I would be like, okay, come home. Now I'm gonna write the hypothesis ABC, and then this is the experiment I'm gonna create.
The A/B testing done right. Oh my God.
That sounded very robotic, but like you want to see people how they react when things are not good, and I would just probably spend more time seeing these sort of situations before feeling safe that the relationship is what I want. That's what I have to say. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say
yeah, yeah,
more
yeah.
because it's gonna be worse. Um, what about the other side that you got way too good? That's not English. That you got on really really well with the parents,
Yeah.
better than with
No,
the guy.
I don't know if it's better than with the guy. Ultimately, it was I was obviously sad about like certain relationships ending, but I was also sad that like those relationships with the families also naturally have to end because of it as well. Just because I think I and sometimes the mothers or like other parts of the family saw a future of like our families coming together.
Right.
And that's like it's giving up on that dream that we collectively had because of this relationship not working out. And I think that was really the hardest part. Um,
So
yeah.
when you break up with someone, what is your opinion on, let's say you built a very good relationship with the mother or father or sister, whatever, should you cut all the contact with them or can you actually stay in touch with them even though you're not in touch with the guy?
Yeah. I obviously not to the same extent um of a relationship that it was. I personally have, and it's not like keeping up in contact. It's more of like, oh, we still like follow each other on Instagram.
Mm.
Um, yeah, this has particularly happened in the relationship where like the parents literally reached out and apologized to me after we broke up. Like it
The
was that kind of
parents,
thing. The
really? Okay.
parents,
I've never
yeah,
been in
and
that situation.
I'm not either. And I was, it was kind of funny. They're like, "We're so so sorry. Like this should not have ended like this." So
Mm.
yeah, it was definitely nice of them. Like they're very, very sweet and kind people, so I appreciate it. I also like I think it does take quite a bit of courage to apologize for your own son's behavior. Um,
That
that
is
takes a lot.
brave. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have to say that. I
Yeah.
wonder what
Yeah,
did
yeah.
he do?
It's not that he did. It's just like yeah, it was just the breakup itself. So, um, but yeah, how about you? How have like when was it difficult to break up end a relationship because the family is so good?
I don't think I've been in such an extreme situation as you were, and said that the family would reach out to me and say that they're sorry for their son. But I definitely also experienced very great family dynamics and built quite strong bonds with the mother. Um, this was one of my first serious relationships, and we just clicked so much with the mom. At some point I would tell her probably things I should have not told her, just like dealing with my own problems. I was young as well, and I was able to talk to her more than I was able to talk to the guy at some point. So when we broke up, yeah, she would still talk to me pretty closely in terms of sharing when we met. Um, Even when the guy had a new girlfriend already,
Ooh,
and that was like a little bit. Yeah, I really liked her. I also liked his sister, and we would have very good relationships. But it was creating weird dynamic, and I probably should have not be as involved as I was. But at some point, it just kind of chiseled and faded naturally. And then I was in a relationship later on where I'm still, as you said, like I would say happy birthday to mom, and just exchange maybe like one or two messages a year.
yeah.
And that I think, as you said, it's like thoughtful, and I don't find it harmful. Like I'm not talking about my everyday problems or talking about the relationship, but I did like the person,
Being
so
friendly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. I had another question actually as we were talking, which it's going a little bit back. But I was wondering. I've never had a problem with this per se, but I've had friends who've been in these kind of situations, and it's always been tricky. So, how involved do you think you should be when you are a committed partner, right? So you've been together for some time, and there are clearly some big issues in the family, like sister is being manipulative of your, husband or partner, and he's like suffering, but he's maybe not that vocal and has like a weak spot for the sister, and it is affecting your relationship that he's prioritizing, or like mother is very
That's
manipulative.
hard. Yeah, it
Yeah, like
happens a lot
all
with
this.
mothers apparently.
Yeah, all those dynamics that you enter when you obviously start sharing life with the person. So how involved should we get? Yeah.
Oh, that's a hard one. I think it also it definitely depends on how long you guys have been together and how well you know the families. Because I think if you're married and it's been a while, like the families have integrated into each other's like families, and so
Right.
I think it's normal to get involved in that case and like have like the sideline conversations of like, hey, like I'm hearing this, you telling this to my husband, like should we work it out like between the two of us? And so not having like the guy be the person in the middle. But I think if it's early on in the relationship
But
and
isn't that assuming that you think that that person is reasonable? That you can take them on the side and like you can talk it through. But what if you can't?
yeah,
What if they are
if
like
they're
really not
unreasonable,
reasonable?
my goodness,
Yeah.
then I hope like the husband's at least reasonable.
Because
Like someone has to,
I've heard this multiple times where the husband or the partner is, very loving, great partner, but they just have a weak
yeah.
spot for the sister, and that the sister is, a little bit crazy or just manipulative, and she always been a dynamic, and the brother maybe recognizes it, or the partner, but he's fine with it, but you are not, because you clearly see that it's like toxic.
Yeah, that's hard. It's almost like you need professional help in that case. Um, like
Like you
a
call a third
therapist needs
party.
to, he needs to have a therapist enter the room because that seems like it's some
So you would
unworked out
actually
like
call like a
family.
professional help.
I would talk to a therapist
But
and be
is
like,
it
"Hey, what's your advice on this one?"
fair? I mean, you individually would talk, or would you like call a therapist to their family, being like, "This is
Come
your
help.
help. Deal with your things now."
Um, no, I think definitely the former of like, how can I sanely deal in this situation, especially if it's impacting like my relationship with my partner. Because that's what I would care most about. It's like they can have their own like
For sure.
conversations, issues, whatever. But if it's a bringing into my house, then we're gonna deal with it.
Well, I would probably talk to friends first.
I guess that's fine
um,
too. Free therapy.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you talk to friends, get their advice. Because I'd be afraid to intervene between the brother and sister dynamic in this case, or especially like mother and son dynamic. Like that
Oh
is
yeah,
in some
that is
families like
heavy.
holy.
It's heavy.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what if like a mother is starting to attack you? Like there's this mom-son
that's
relationship,
really
and
hard.
she's the
Yeah,
best woman for him, and you're
this
kind of,
is why I work very hard to win over the mothers.
oh yeah,
Um,
good first impression, very important.
this after. Um, I very rarely not had mothers like me. Just
Have you
because
ever
like
had a mother not liking you?
I don't think so. Um, no, like they've always been nice. Yeah, I could imagine it if, like, for example, let's say I came into a relationship and the mother had already picked someone else out for the son. Like that could be a potential one of like,
Ooh.
oh, he chose not what I wanted for him.
Or like the previous girl was better.
Yeah,
That's actually, where I would say I would have a big fear of that if I would date someone who is divorced.
yeah,
Because clearly the family at that point, was quite interconnected, and
yeah.
would
Or
they
they could have a
compare
Charlotte
me?
that's like trying to get them back together.
Oh, that's even worse. Yeah, and then like you can't do much there,
Right.
unfortunately. Oof.
Except for the trust, the fact that your like partner, husband, whatever, is with you for like you and to be with you. So, um,
Mm,
because at the end
I
of the day, it
mean,
is like their relationship, it is their happiness. It also depends on how much they rely on the opinions of others in their family.
yeah, it's very subjective.
Yeah. Have you ever had the opposite happen though, of like you bring someone home and your family didn't like them?
No, the only thing that I've got from my mom, well, two things. First was like when brought I brought a couple of people over the years, and she just had one reaction being like, "Oh, he's doesn't really fit your type." like, I, he's like different than the previous guys. And I was like, okay.
Oh,
And the second thing was, she once told me that she really liked one guy that I dated, and then
yeah.
we ended things, and I had someone new. And she said that it was kind of hard for her to switch
Mm,
again. So I think that's where I realized that I need to be very careful in the introductions, because I understand, like, if you somehow get used to someone as a parent and you really like them, and then that person is gone, and then you bring a new one and they
Yeah.
need to go through the whole like getting to know each other again, especially with my mom, where she needs to speak English most of the time because I would most of the time have someone that is not coming from Slovakia. It's very difficult for her to like
Yeah.
bond.
No, makes
So
sense.
I just became a little bit more careful about the introduction part because yeah, I can empathize. And that's also why I'm like I can see how much mother can create about like a relationship with someone in the past, and I would be a little bit scared if there were a very strong relationship, that how they're gonna react. But I mean, you can always, if you put the effort in, I believe that it can always be worked out.
No, agreed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
What
I
about
also
you?
am super careful about introducing my family to anyone, really. It really has to be serious and I actually have to believe in it. It takes a while. And
Yeah.
because of that, I think quite rarely do my parents not like them.
Yeah, yeah. No,
So,
I never had this weirdness where I felt that either my parents didn't like someone I brought, or that I felt
yeah.
from the guy's parents they didn't like me. I
Yeah,
guess I'm just a
interesting.
delight.
You are. Anyone
I
would have
am.
be so lucky to have you as a daughter-in-law.
So goes for you. Oh, we're just perfect.
Oh my
This
God.
podcast is done. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
This is what we needed from it. Like we just needed to boost our
We can't relate to the
confidence.
problems.
Yeah.
I feel like if you can't relate to the problem, you are the problem.
Am I the drama?
Am I the problem? I'm very commonly the problem.
Well, first step is awareness.
It's identification.
If you're aware, at least you are aware, and you know some people not are not even aware. So
There we
I
go.
give you bonus points for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh gosh.
Anyway,
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about the specifics of the topic because I didn't actually pick up on this piece of the
oh
fact
yeah,
that
so
Vaughn wasn't able to
get it
perform in
on.
bed. Or I mean he did, but he would just like get a little too excited too quickly. Um
Yeah,
you mentioned that you think it's linked to the fact that like his family spoke a little too openly about like sex and things in general.
I would say specifically mom.
Okay.
I I automatically I didn't even think about it. To me, it was clear from the way he was reacting, very emotionally and childish about when Carrie tried to have a conversation about the problem. And he would
Yeah.
just be, oh, I talked about it, sex since I was a child with my mom all the time. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And then the mom saying that, yeah, it's always been a part of discussion in our house, being quite open about it. I believe that that created a more negative impact on Fawn than positive. Maybe, you know, he just connected it a lot with the mom, and then there was this weird dynamic between the partner or mom, or he had just a huge expectations on how he should perform because of this like very deep discussions. Like you don't necessarily like, I think it's good if you can talk about these topics with parents, but also like oversharing, especially when
Yeah.
you're a child, as a you know, as like a mom, being like, "Oh, this is what I've done." So I would presume that she was probably too open,
Like
and then
oversharing. Yeah.
yeah, and
Okay.
then Vaughn was rather introverted. So yeah, to me that was a clear, you know, causation effect that it was a trauma response from the
Yeah.
childhood.
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, and I don't think she like I think she meant well. Like, right? So she wanted her
For sure.
children to grow up and be comfortable in their own selves and things like that, but I think she might have overdone it.
And also, this is a topic that is very, you know, hot these days. But
Yeah.
so for the context, Vaughn had two sisters, and I think they were fine. I think when you are a mother and you talk to your daughters about these things,
It's slightly
completely different
different.
dynamic. But
Yeah,
if you talk to your son about these things, especially from like a perspective of maybe like what I like or like how I perceive it rather than like being a parent, I can see how that might create weird, I don't want to
perceptions
say
of things.
dynamic. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
for the guy, especially introverted guy, like they have different ways they need to grow and understand these topics. And I think sometimes you need them that or just the guys to talk about it. And being overly feminine in terms of exposure here, it's I
Makes
think
sense.
more tricky.
Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. So, do we want to dive into our main question of how many people are you involved in a relationship, and like, yeah, when you're sleeping with someone, are you also screwing the family?
Should we read first the question of Carrie?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Sorry, answer, not question. Um, Yeah, so as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, the final scene, which is very iconic also for Sex and the City, is she walks out of the house and goes directly to their
After breaking up
favorite
with the mom.
spot. Yeah, pretty much. And then she says that the most important thing in life is your family. There are days you love them and others you don't, but in the end, they are the people you always come home to. Sometimes it's the family you are born into, and sometimes it's the one you make for yourself. Very Carrie. There is also another point, which I think is more short and to the point, actually, when it comes to the question. One thing about families, if no one is sorry to see you go, you are probably not coming back.
Yeah. Uh, I like the
So,
former one.
what I understood from this is yes, there's always going to be more people involved, especially once you start to be serious. And as you said, there's almost this ideal future that everyone involved imagine, right? Like a
Yep.
mother also wants the best for their son, and if they like you, they're like, oh yeah, this is perfect, I want you to be together and blah blah, and then you need to deal with that as well, in certain extent. So ultimately I would say yeah, there's definitely more people involved.
In a relationship, yeah. And I think it also, just to touch on upon the last scene of it, I think friends are also a form of family that you have to be able to almost integrate into or get along with, because those are like selected family
Oh, that's
members.
even I think sometimes more important because like I would probably no, I would for sure introduce my partner earlier on to the family friends
Dear
that I
friends.
would do to
Yeah.
my mom, and if they don't like the person, that is a problem. Or
Yeah.
if I meet the friends of whoever I'm with and it's just not working for one or the other reason, it's quite big impact in terms of
Yeah.
my perception of is this even good?
No, agreed. Yeah, and I think it makes sense that you would introduce like them to your friends first and then your family, just because I think your friends are much more resilient and they're like, nah, 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 didn't pass the vibe check, bring in the next one. Like
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And it's not like
It's
your
more
family
like
is,
direct.
yeah, and there's not as much judgment, I don't think, as well, because your family, I think, has like the highest expectations for you and
It's
being
the
like, what are you doing?
expectations, right? Like it's the
Yeah,
expectations more than the judgment. Like friends would be like,
yeah,
okay, you talked about this person forever, and he seems nice, and then your family is like, okay, you're
yeah.
serious.
Are you sure you want this? No, agreed, agreed. I actually kind of agree with the answer this time. I'm not mad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not clearly answering the question, which is like, when you sleep with someone, are you screwing the family? And she's like, well, you either create family or.
I think I do agree. I don't know about like screwing the family, but I think you are dating not just the one person, but like everyone else around them. Like you're are getting involved with those people.
Yeah.
So maybe not actually screwing them though, because that could cause another problem.
Huh? What?
If you're screwing someone else from the family, that can cause another problem.
Oh, yeah, that is a completely different dynamic. We didn't talk
Might be a
about
different
that.
episode, guys.
That is, well, in that case, you definitely are the drama.
You
Let's put it that
definitely
way.
are the problem. Oh my God.
Something is clearly not good there.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well,
Unless you're
anyways,
in a
I
polygamous state,
polyamorous.
polyamorous.
Okay, but still, like in that case, like with siblings, that's weird.
Okay, now let's ignore this. We never touched on this topic. And with this, this is the end. Nothing else to say.
Oh my goodness. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for diving in. Diving in. Tuning
Diving
in.
in, but also
Tuning
diving
in.
in.
We are diving, yeah, every day into our
It's
lives.
gonna be a nightmare to edit.
So, bye. We'll see you soon.
Oh.